a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Alexis Ohanian. Alexis Kerry Ohanian, Sr. is an American internet entrepreneur and investor, who is co-founder and executive chairman of the social news website Reddit. He also co-founded the early-stage venture capital firm Initialized Capital, helped launch the travel search website Hipmunk, and started the social enterprise Breadpig. Ohanian is based in San Francisco, and was a partner at Y Combinator. In 2012, Andy Greenberg of Forbes magazine dubbed him Mayor of the Internet. Early life. Ohanian was born in Brooklyn, New York, to Chris Ohanian, an Armenian-American whose grandparents came to the U.S. as refugees after the Armenian Genocide, and a German-born mother, Ang. He went to Howard High School in Ellicott City, Maryland, where he gave the student address for his graduating class in 2001. Career. After graduating from the University of Virginia in 2005 with degrees in commerce and history, Ohanian and friend Steve Huffman pitched the idea, My Mobile Menu, to Y Combinator. The company passed on the idea, but encouraged the duo to come up with another idea it could potentially fund. They subsequently came up with Reddit.com with the goal of it becoming the front page of the internet. Now living in Boston, they were less than a month into development when Ohanian learned that his girlfriend had fallen 5 stories and was in a coma. Shortly after, his father called him to tell him that his mother had been diagnosed with an inoperable tumor, then joined the first batch of summer 2005, and were later acquired by Condé Nast in 2006 for an undisclosed amount between $10–20 million. Ohanian continued to work closely with Reddit as a member of its board of directors. He returned to Reddit full-time with co-founder Huffman on July 10, 2015, to lead the now independent company. In 2007, Ohanian launched Breadpig, an corporation that produces geeky merchandise and gives the proceeds to charity. He no longer is involved in the day-to-day operations of Breadpig. In 2009, Ohanian spoke at TED about a whale named Mr. Splashy Pants. After leaving Reddit in 2010, Ohanian spent 3 months working in microfinance as a Kiva Fellow in Yerevan, Armenia. Ohanian helped launch travel search website Hipmunk in 2010, and now acts as an advisor. In June 2010, Ohanian announced the launch of his company Das Kapital Capital, which focuses on startup investing, advising and consulting. Citation needed. Vertical bar date February 2015, Ohanian was named the Ambassador to the East for early-stage venture firm Y Combinator. In this position, he meets with East Coast applicants, mentors New York YC founders, and is a general representative for the company. He also held the role of part-time partner and full-time partner at Y Combinator, before leaving in 2016 to help launch the third Initialized Capital fund with Gary Dan. Early-stage tech investing. Ohanian co-founded Initialized Capital in 2010 and made seed investments in startups including Instacart, Zenefits, Opendoor, and Cruise. It has had 3 funds, totaling over $160 million under management. In 2014, CB Insights analyzed all the investors in tech, and Ohanian was #1 ranked investor for network centrality. Open Internet activism. In late 2010 and early 2011, Ohanian spoke out against Congress' Stop Online Piracy Act and the Senate's Protect IP Act. He helped lead the Internet-enabled grassroots campaign that eventually overturned the 2 bills. Ohanian spoke to members of Congress, helped launch the national anti-Zopa/Piper protests that took place on January 18, 2012, and spoke at the rally in New York that was organized by NY Tech Meetup. In October 2012, Ohanian teamed up with Reddit general manager Eric Martin and embarked on the Internet 2012 bus tour, from Denver, Colorado to Danville, Kentucky to campaign for the open internet during the presidential and vice presidential debates. One of the campaign stops spurred the idea for a possible National Geek Day in Washington, D.C. In response to his work advocating for the open internet, The Daily Dot named Ohanian number 1 in their top 10 most influential activists of 2012, and Forbes magazine dubbed him Mayor of the Internet. In May 2014, Ohanian began lobbying the FCC to support net neutrality, culminating with a day-long phone-a-thon into the FCC and Congress on January 15, 2015. Victoria Taylor firing. On July 2, 2015, Reddit fired Communications Director Victoria Taylor, a well-liked administrator who coordinated celebrity interviews, from Reddit's New York office. In protest, volunteer moderators of the IMA community set their forum to private, effectively turning it off, and other volunteer moderators followed suit, because of anger at the way the company routinely demands that the volunteers and community accept major changes that reduce their efficiency and increase their workload. Initially, interim CEO Ellen Pao was blamed for the dismissal. Harassment which was already being directed toward Pao in relation to other controversies intensified, and she resigned a week later. However, a moderator of IMA posted on July 3 that Shooter was let go as an admin by u/K0thing, Alexis Ohanian. This was not widely reported until the aftermath of Pao's resignation, when Ohanian elaborated on his role in Taylor's dismissal. On July 12, former CEO Yishan Wang informed the Reddit community that Taylor was fired by the CEO's boss, and accused Ohanian of scapegoating. Ohanian countered that even though the IMA changes came from him, he still reported to Pao. As was done for Ellen Pao, a petition was uploaded to Change.org asking Alexis Ohanian to step down. In 2017, Pao criticized Ohanian for avoiding the fallout by attending the championships, Wimbledon, in the days immediately following Taylor's firing. Creative work. Ohanian created all the mascots for the companies he started: Red Italian, Snoo, Bread Pig with bread wings, Hipmunk Chipmunk, Chip, and initialized Capital Honey Badger. Hijab Emoji Project. In early 2017, he worked with teenager Rayouf Al-Humedi to campaign for a hijab emoji. Ohanian helped arrange an AMA for Al-Humedi on R/2X chromosomes about her idea and responded to critics. On July 17, 2017, Apple released its version of the hijab emoji. Crowdfunding campaigns. On December 10, 2012, Ohanian teamed up with Lester Chambers of the Chambers Brothers to launch a Kickstarter project, with the intent to make a new album titled Lester's Time Has Come. According to Fast Company, Ohanian aimed to prove that there are new, sustainable funding opportunities for artists now thanks to platforms like Kickstarter. This project raised over $61,000 for Chambers. 2 years later, Ohanian raised $12,244 for the non-profit Black Girls Code on Tilt.com. In May 2014, Ohanian used Tilt.com again to launch Save Net Neutrality, Billboard in FCC's Backyard, a crowdfunding campaign to protest the FCC's plans to eliminate the idea of net neutrality. Personal life. On December 10, 2016, Ohanian became engaged to tennis player Serena Williams. Their daughter, Alexis Olympia Ohanian Jr. was born on September 1, 2017 in West Palm Beach, Florida. Ohanian and Williams married on November 16, 2017 in New Orleans. Published works. Ohanian published a book titled Without Their Permission, How the 21st Century Will Be Made, Not Managed, on October 1, 2013. Without Their Permission ranked 4th on the Wall Street Journal's bestsellers list for hardcover business. In connection with the book, Ohanian embarked on a 5-month, 150-stop and 75-university tour to promote the book. Small Empires. In the summer of 2013, Small Empires with Alexis Ohanian, a weekly online series focused on rising startups in New York City hosted by Ohanian, premiered on The Verge. The first season ran for 9 episodes. The second season premiered in October 2014. Nerd Radio. On October 15, 2014, Ohanian launched the Nerd Radio podcast. Guests on the show have included Tim Ferriss, James Altucher, Carter Cleveland, and Cameron Russell. The podcast features a segment called Office Hours, in which aspiring entrepreneurs can apply to work through an idea with him. Upvoted. On January 8, 2015, Ohanian released the first episode listed as Episode 0 of Reddit's new podcast Upvoted, in which Ohanian delves deeper into real stories found on Reddit and talks to the users involved. Each week, the podcast focuses on a different story and features a guest around whom that story is centered. Brought to you by Wikivideo Documentaries. Would you like